Hold on. There we go. There's me. And then
Who the fuck is that guy?
yeah, we're in mid-season for tonight. Yeah. Welcome everybody. Joe and Mike here with you on this Monday edition of the show. Mike, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay, I guess.
Okay.
Long weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of horse racing.
Yeah.
A lot of winning.
Good thing.
Especially when you give out a double. And not only do you realize that the payouts that they give you is in a $1 increment and not a $2 increment like they do at parks.
Right.
So I'm sitting there and I see the payouts. I'm like, all right, $28. Okay, yeah. $280. I forgot it's a $1 increment, so I got to multiply that number by 20 for my spreadsheet.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So we were at a point. We were at a point on Friday where I was up for the month on my article. $718.
Whoa. Nice.
It is down to 628.
Okay.
Because I had 3 races on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
My horse, Growth Equity, had to lead briefly in the stretch and got swallowed up. I mean, he got swallowed up like cake to a fat person.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was not good. Not pretty.
But it is what it is. So we're also watching the Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. Glad I did not touch this game so far. Because the San Antonio Spurs are up 28-17 in the first quarter. I mean, kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
San Antonio would come out sharp, I would think.
Yeah.
But, it's early. Before you know it, we'll have the Knicks ended up ahead by like 30.
Exactly.
Because like I said to you before the show started, you said to me, would you be surprised that the Spurs win by whatever the amount you gave me? I said, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that. And I wouldn't be surprised that the Knicks win by 50 either, one extreme or the other, not something in the middle. Unlike what I was thinking in game 2, because I was thinking like the huge comeback that they had in the second half in game 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking what they're doing right now in game 2. So turns out it was a Knicks win, and I could have used a couple extra bucks in the account because I'm not afraid to bet the money line on an underdog. I won't play money. Let me fix that.
Okay.
The only time I will bet money line on a favorite is like if the odds are better to play money line versus a point spread, for example.
Right.
Or when you have a early win thing, like I forgot to do it yesterday. Forgot to look for it yesterday because I forgot Aaron Nola was pitching. So, even I don't know who was favored in the game yesterday. I think the Phillies were. Not that it really matters, but I think FanDuel has it where if your team is up by 2 or more runs, it's an automatic win on your wager.
Oh.
So I said a couple of weeks ago, I said, this is a guarantee if you, depending on what book you use.
Right.
If you get that early win scenario, take advantage of it whenever Aaron Nola is pitching. And I think it came into play yesterday. I'm not sure. But the Phillies did win that game 1, 2, or 3. And
yeah, they did. Another series win.
And they're winning today 5-2, even though Dirty Sanchez is getting into trouble there. 2 on, 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th.
Oh.
Toronto fans are acting like the Toronto Maple Leafs have a chance to win the Stanley Cup.
It ain't gonna happen.
You want a fun fact?
What's that?
This is something that, if you want to impress the shit out of fellow sports fans that may not be too big on hockey or don't realize it,
Right?
the Toronto Maple Leafs in franchise history have never won 3 series in one Stanley Cup playoffs.
Huh?
They have not been
Right?
in the Stanley Cup final
Right?
since 1967, which was the last of the original 6.
Right?
And the playoffs were only 2 rounds.
Oh, wow.
They haven't even made it to the Stanley Cup final since 67.
Oh, yeah. Toronto.
So if you ever want to bet somebody,
Right?
and bet somebody who's soccer fan, not soccer, hockey fan,
Right?
soccer starts Thursday. By the way, from what I'm hearing,
Mm-hmm.
fade all the European teams because they're all complaining about the heat here in the United States.
Oh.
Pussies. But seriously, Toronto has never won 3 playoff series in one Stanley Cup playoff.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Okay.
But, it is what it is. So, but coming up on the show tonight, I'll recap Saratoga. Not sure if Mike watched much of it this weekend, but I know he watched. I know he watched the big race.
Yeah, I did.
But our boy Mark Cassidy had a big day on Friday, especially. He actually had the whole weekend. He had 3 Grade 1 winners.
Mark.
And we interviewed him last year. I'll play a piece of that because it was something I saw on my Facebook that came up, and I gotta play it because it was an interesting question that AJ had.
Mm-hmm.
Now I had an interesting question that I never went to, but because a lot of times I just mental Rolodex because how my brain is like a sponge. I just didn't do anything like that. But anyways, for those that are interested, well, not that one. We're not interested in that one. We're interested in this one. The Spurs lead the Knicks 33-22 after 1. So Spurs trying to get it back to San Antonio. And then they'll try to win a second game so that the Knicks can win in 6. So I can cash both my NBA final wagers. Because I have one wager which has the Knicks winning outright.
Right.
That is at like plus 160. And I think the Spurs in 6 is plus 475. Now, granted, they're only $10 each, but still.
Yeah.
But so we'll be commenting here and there about the game here, and I'll be looking to my left, which will be right on the camera. Mike will be looking to his right, which is will be left on the camera because I have a TV here, and especially when there's a live game like tonight for the NBA. Tomorrow night, I will be kind of sidecasting, kind of not. That's what I need. I need a wallpaper, kind of sidecasting, kind of not.
Oh.
Kind of like Danhausen. Very nice, very evil. Kind of sidecasting, kind of not.
Kind of sidecasting, kind of not.
You are cursed. And Mike has no fucking clue what I'm saying. But I want to play it safe. I want to have this video actually stay on YouTube. So, because over the fall or winter last year, when a bunch of the Eagles and Big Dom went to Madison Square Garden for Monday Night Raw, Keem Scadaboo was there, and a couple of the Eagles, and Cooper DeJean was sitting there with Big Dom, and he had a an Eagles WWE Championship belt. I mean, it was Eagles themed and all that. So
Right.
that's the reason why I was doing it. But WWE is very strict on copyrights and stuff. So I'm like,
I can see that.
so I'm not even going to attempt it.
Okay.
Now I could cut off the YouTube channels and whatever and do that, but I'm not going to do that either. But I do not think AJ gave out a winner Saturday. For once. Now I gave 3 of the 4 horses in the superfecta,
Right.
but the horse I needed to win did not. The other 3 horses were 1, 2, 3.
What can you do?
Yeah, I know. So, but the Triple Crown season is over,
Yep.
and we now go into the silly season with the 3-year-olds. And basically, it's it seems like many states have their own derby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, Delaware Park last year instituted the Delaware Derby last year.
Okay.
They still run it now at Monmouth, but it's an afterthought race now. You had the Jersey Derby at Monmouth, which used to be a Garden State.
Right.
You have the New York Derby, which is actually a New York bred stake at Finger Lakes, where I told AJ, hey, this Schoolyard Superman doesn't win. You can always correct his problems with that race.
Right.
And then I realized he's not bred in New York. So I was like this a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so should I tell the news now?
You want time? You want to?
Because yeah, why not? We'll promote it now. Why not?
Okay.
Do something different here before we get to the meat of the show.
Gotcha.
And we'll also now the entries are not out yet, but right now, unless something goes wrong between now and Saturday, AJ's horse Schoolyard Superman will be running in the Pegasus Stakes, a 3-year-old stake at Monmouth Park on Saturday.
Whoa, that is news.
Now, there are only 10 horses that are nominated for this race. Now, let me see if I can pull it up here for you. And let me see if I can remember how I got this. Stakes nominations. Monmouth Park. And I'm going to show the past performances here. And for the most part, when we look at this here, and I'm going to show my screen here, there were only 10 horses that were nominated. So a lot of these horses, I'm saying,
Who the fuck is that guy?
but you get the idea. So, and this is in alphabetical order here. So, Baby Vino did have a workout at Monmouth. This is actually generated last week. So we may have some differences here. Hedge Ratio won the Long Beach Stakes last time out, going a mile and 70 yards. This race is a mile and 16, so it's like 30 yards longer. Casbrio broke its maiden. Minor inconvenience. Aside from the 2 wins at Saratoga last year, hasn't shown much. I mean, did show a little bit in the gander there, but Mo Coco. I doubt this horse would be coming in because that's coming in from the West Coast,
Okay.
Santa Anita, but there is a stipulation we'll get into in a minute. National Charter, probably the main threat in this race, if this horse gets entered, because of the fact that he likes to run close to the pace, which is what Schoolyard Superman will do. And he had a 99 buyer on Daily Racing Form. So, we're ahead of the game, but, we're looking at Equibase here. So, likes to be close to the pace here. Got a chance to go a mile and an eighth in the Withers. Got out quick to the first turn, and that day the track was all speed that day, so he didn't do anything.
Okay.
So he will be probably on the lead here. 6 speed, probably forget about him because he ran at Saratoga on Saturday. Star Sweeper, probably be challenging on the lead, and with the time off that Schoolyard Superman had, maybe he's learned to rate behind horses. I don't know. We'll see. But this horse was on the lead in the Long Branch Stakes, finished second, lost by a head, but fairly slow times. Taj Mahal also ran at Saratoga, so I doubt that he runs there. So,
Okay.
so you're looking at most right now a field of 8, and I'm not saying this because wait, I gotta hold on. What I do with it? This is what happens when you're ADD, ADHD, elemental P like I am. What the fuck did I do with it? 1 second, Mike called me.
So,
Oh, here it is.
okay, that's me talking. Okay. Thank you for your patience in this matter. Sorry for the inconvenience.
And
We're back.
I am not saying this because I'm invested some money in Commonwealth with my 2-year-old horse, because that horse was one of the horses that AJ invested in at Commonwealth. So I'm not saying it because of this, as I change hats for you guys, but yeah. So the horse will be on or near the lead, and Monmouth Park does tend to be front running speed time to time, so you could see him on the lead and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of, will he be pressured or not. I think he's faster than a lot of these horses. So but the reason why you run him at Monmouth is because if he finishes in the top 2, he gets an all expense, well, we could say all expenses, but all his entry fees and stuff, they're all paid by the track, because guess what? He gets a free entry into the Haskell, which is $1 million race, where he's going to face some of the big boys
Right.
in the 3-year-old division. And about this time of the year, and we may not necessarily see it this week, but maybe next week on the 20th, when we look at Thistledown, you're going to have horses that are going to be overbet like you wouldn't believe, because, hey, that horse finished 3rd in the Derby. Yeah, you should just run all over this field. And
Okay.
2 years ago, I gave you guys a winner. I was like, well, this horse is fast, but, this horse is in the Derby and all that, or in the Preakness, I think, one of those 2 races. I said, well, this horse here, he ran a faster race at 1.25 miles than the horses in the Derby a couple days prior. Even though track conditions can change and stuff like that, and he ended up winning the race. So I was like,
Right.
But I do want to let you guys know as well, as we're going to get into the meat of the show here in a minute. I do want to let you guys know Schoolyard Superman is also cross-entered, cross-nominated with the Delaware Derby, Delaware Park. Now, once we get the entries for both tracks, he's definitely going to his name's definitely going to show up at Monmouth Park.
Okay.
We know that. He may not even show up in the entries on this race because they're so sure he's going to run at Monmouth Park. So this card may be deleted by Wednesday, but because I'm the type of person where I'm preparing for just about anything.
Right.
If he ends up going to Delaware Park, which is more money, I believe, because the Pegasus is a $125,000 race. So the connections will get $75,000 for winning. But it's $75,000 plus free entry and start fees to the Haskell. Whereas the Delaware Derby is a $300,000 guaranteed race. You get 150. You get 60% of 300,000, which is $180,000. Okay.
Okay.
But first you have 34 nominations. We can eliminate Taj Mahal, so we have 33 probably. Oselli we can eliminate because he's running in Ohio next week. But the thing is, a lot of people say, well, why are you going to Monmouth where the money's a lot less?
Right.
So, it's like, hey, we're going to Jersey. We're going to see the people of the Jersey Shore, When you can go to Delaware, you get a little more extra money for winning, and you can do some tax-free shopping too.
That's right.
We've taken advantage of tax-free shopping many a time.
Yep, yes we have.
But there's something that Monmouth offers. Well, two things Monmouth offers that Delaware Park does not offer. One is geography, because he's based out of Belmont.
Okay.
And two, you get a free entry into a bigger race. Whereas Delaware is just, here's your trophy, now get the fuck out.
Get away from it. Yeah.
Hopefully nobody from Commonwealth is watching because, well, he just dropped an F where we can't sponsor his show. Yeah, you can. I can tone it down, trust me. But seriously, so that is the case here. So we are looking on Saturday to look at Monmouth Park. We're going to look at it anyway. But if they redirect him to Delaware, then, we'll see. Actually, let me check one other thing here because oh, it's not on here. Okay. I was going to look to see, did they nominate him for the Ohio Derby? And the only reason why I say that is I think he is okay on the slop. Let me just double check something here. Monmouth. Oh, I still have it up. That's right. He's never run on a wet track. Okay.
Okay.
So I want to see one thing here. No, that's Saratoga. That's not Philly. Now I'm just going by Philly's weather, which we're like the midpoint between the two cities. Okay, it's supposed to be sunny on Saturday.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But I think it's more storms than a regular 3-day rain event. So, whatever. But yeah. So I'll be updating you tomorrow if the horses entered. Well, post positional that and how many horses are in the field. I think it's going to be a very short field, like maybe probably 5 horses at that.
Okay.
Because if you only have 10, and I'm just looking at some of the things here, and some horses are cross entered and stuff like that. So you're probably going to see some cross entries and stuff like that. So that is the case with that. So, and right now it's 42-40. San Antonio's up 2, and they're playing keep away from their own teammate because San Antonio gave it away. The Knicks gave it right back, and the Spurs score in a foul.
Yep.
And won. So it's 44-40 with the free throw pending here. So but you just get the feeling this is just going to be. I mean, the Spurs know that we don't win tonight.
Yeah.
We're not. Well, we're going back to San Antonio, but we're not bringing New York with us.
Right.
But and sometimes when you're looking, especially if you're watching the show on YouTube, I do give you a rundown of what I plan to talk about. There are the days where I go strictly by it because, it is what it is. But sometimes you just fly by the seat of your pants. And since we're talking about that, we saw some orange dude in a box at MSG tonight. And no, I'm not saying Gritty. Because Gritty would probably have been kicked out of there probably because he'd probably be throwing stuff at the Knicks.
Yeah, he would. Yeah. He would definitely have been kicked out.
But the other orange dude, who is really, if you watch that one Instagram that I tell you about, Epistemic Crisis, now people say, oh, he just hates Trump. He's in the medical field, so I kind of, and like other people are joining in as well with some of the things they're saying with like a lot of the things he's saying. But we're not going to talk about that in terms of left, right. You're dope. We're not talking about the politics itself. We're talking tonight about the fact that Trump is in New York. Now, I do want to thank SJ for this because she shared this morning because she gets up a lot earlier than I do.
Okay.
All I know is she better not wake me up because if she calls me early in the morning,
right,
she's getting voicemail because I'm not even hearing my phone ring. But I'm doing this for a reason here.
Okay.
But I will say this. She found this morning, I think she even wrote the article. Oh, no, she didn't write the article. Oh, she didn't write it, but she fact-checked it.
Oh, okay, SJ.
So I'm going to give her credit. I'm going to give Grant Afseth or whatever the hell his name is, Um, but she's probably watching the game and doing work, so I'm not gonna bug her. Other than this, there's this thing on Snapchat where you send pictures back and forth and try to continue your streak.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm bad at it because even if I send a picture, sometimes it doesn't register, and the next thing you know, I don't have any. I don't have a picture to send, or I forget, and next thing you know, the streak is killed, and I'm like, yeah, I forgot. Hate me. We're back at zero while some of your friends are like 1,000 or whatever. But she did share this, and this is from TickPick. And she said that what they're doing, what they did in preparation for tonight's game, all because the orange guy is in town. She said it's nuts. And, I'm giving her credit for this as well.
Okay.
And I'll also give TickPick credit because they're the ones that post this. Now, whether they stole from somebody else or this is a genuine videos or not, I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt here. So, And oh, by the way, when it comes to the Saratoga coverage on Q&A Racing on Facebook, our boy Frank the Bank, he was up there all week.
Oh.
All kinds of videos on the Facebook page. I got to send you the link.
Okay.
But anyway, so back to this as my ADD mind goes into a million different directions here. Here is what they have. Oh, no, I'm not sharing an invite, dumbass. We want to share the screen here. So they showed here the extra security. I sound like Trump there. Just got an epistemic crisis, and you'll see what I mean. But here you go. The famous fencing. Yeah.
Wendy was.
On a parlé aussi.
Okay, so that's the first video. Here's the second one. Oh, no, it's just a picture. So you can see the fencing that's there and everything because, got to keep the bad guys out. Well, why did they let San Antonio in?
Okay.
But, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, even if it's the fact that James Dolan or whatever the owner's name is. I think it's James Dolan, right?
Yeah, Dolan.
Yeah, he invited Trump to the thing. But some of the things that was noted here and fact-checked and all that. So 27 years later, the Knicks finally get an NBA Finals game at MSG.
Yeah.
Security's even tighter. Now, Donald Trump is a New Yorker, even though if he were to run for a third term, which he can't, it'll say that he's from Florida.
Yeah.
He planned to attend Game 3, which he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know, for example, how the singer was that sang the anthem tonight, whoever it was. I didn't take note of the name. I want to know what his reaction was mentally when he heard everybody booing during the anthem. Because you heard it, I heard it. Because they showed Trump doing the salute.
Yeah, with a smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everybody booing.
Yeah, they did.
But now Trump has ties to the franchise dating back to 1975.
Oh, dang, okay.
Now, he was even in one of those NBA commercials years ago, long before he even thought about running for office. And yeah, I forget what the promotion was, but he used to always sit in the front row. But it looks like I guarantee you that they have the security guards there and everything, which is normal.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, not only is it that, they probably slipped a couple of Secret Service agents in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
As well as that, however you get to those boxes in there. So, but because the president was invited and he wanted to go, and with the strict security, including a no bag policy, TSA-style screening, and a 2-hour early arrival, hundreds of Secret Service and thousands of NYPD officers will secure the area with a hard closure around the garden and nearby streets. And we saw that fencing there in that video.
We did. Yeah.
Now, the most significant change was the watch parties.
Yeah.
On Sunday, the NYPD, in coordination with Secret Service, said there'll be no official gathering outside MSG for Game 3. Which, as soon as Trump confirmed that was going to happen, you knew that was going to happen. Now, the question is, does Trump go to Game 4 or not? But from what it sees right now from this article on balllesslife.com from Grant and fact checked by SJ. Watch parties are expected to resume on Wednesday. Which you may need extra security. There I go, sound like Trump again. No, I do not have frontal temporal dementia. I'm just talking too fast. The Knicks could clinch the title depending on tonight's result.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So that may happen. So, and we have breaking news out of Toronto. You can put one in the win column for the Fighting Phils. As the Phillies defeat the Toronto Blue Jays 5-2.
Go ahead, Phillies.
And, the Phillies continue to win under Donnie Baseball.
Yes, they do.
And it's going to get tougher and tougher for Don Mattingly to say, I'm not coming back next year.
Yeah.
There you go. It's official. It's scoreboard official now.
Okay.
Final. It's a final. But back to the Knicks here. I'm sure SJ, if she was watching right now, she'd be like, "You're talking about something else here." But anytime a Philly team wins, an angel gets its wings. It's kind of like anytime the Dallas Cowboys, New York Yankees, New York Mets all lose. LA Lakers. The LA Fakers.
Yeah.
So Matt McCool, guarantee you that's just his agent name and not his real name.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I'm just making up. He acknowledged that fans would be disappointed, but said priority was ensuring the highest level of public safety, which is rightfully so.
That's true, yeah.
You have to do that. So after Friday's party, which, the This is something that, probably didn't even play a part, but it's like, all right, well, if this is going to happen, then we got to make sure of this. 17 of 26 individuals were arrested following the Game 2 win, while 9 others received court summons and were released. So originally the city intended to cancel the outdoor finals events due to disorderly behavior, but later reversed its decision and granted a permit for Game 1. Now, there was a, and because I'm not completely familiar with the armpit of America, New York City. I think this is far enough away that they can do this, as the Knicks are up 5 right now. So I just did a quick search here for you guys. Obviously, you know what the Garden is. You know where that is, obviously on the map here. And it's far enough away that the mayor, Zoran Madami, I know I'm spelling it. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I don't care. But fans still had options. The Knicks organized watch parties at Woolman Rink and Brooklyn Bowl, but those venues required registration were already filled by Sunday. So the mayor announced the city would host a free watch party for up to 5,000 fans in Bryant Park, which is up there at the top right of the screen there. So they were having an outdoor party there. Thankfully, it's not 105 degrees like it was here and there last week.
Right.
But you get to see what they're doing right now. So, but yeah, so the mayor had that party there. I'm sure there's, just to keep things adjacent to them, we'll make sure we don't do anything. So, so in 1999, when these two teams met,
the
Knicks lost the first 2 games in San Antonio. They won Game 3 at home, and ultimately lost the series in 5. This year, they're up 2-0 with a chance to clinch the title on their home court in the coming days. I don't know. This ain't right.
It's not right?
No, this one part here that I'm about to read here. I'm going to read this here. And trust me, things slip through the cracks. If the Knicks maintain their lead, Monday will mark their first chance in the finals. Okay, maybe it is right. Okay. Well, even so, it's wrong, but I think. If the Knicks maintain their lead on Monday, Monday will mark their first chance in the finals since 1999 to be 1 win away from the title with their home crowd behind them. The celebration, long awaited by fans, will take place within a security perimeter and will be influenced more by the visiting team than the home team. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were down 3-2 in the OJ series, I believe. 1994.
Okay.
Let me see that. That was against the Rockets. It was 2-2. They took a 3-2 lead in game 5 because remember back then it was 2-3-2.
Right.
So in 1994 they had that chance, but they lost game 6 and 7 in Houston.
Yeah. The king and the dream and the team.
Uh-huh. But in 1999, and I know I'm basically going a little too far with this, but I don't care. But in 1999, they never got that chance because they were down 2-1. They're trying to make it 2-2.
Right.
And first chance in the final since 1999 to be 1 win away from the title. They weren't 1 win away. They were 3 wins away. They never got to that second win. This year they're 2 away.
Yeah.
But, since that article's been out there for so long, and, it is what it is. So, yeah, so I don't know. So that is the case there. So the Knicks are up 64-57 at the half. That was a late run there. And,
It was.
I was too busy talking about this and
Right.
that next thing I'm like, oh shit, they're up 5. And they're they were because I saw John Starks there. I think that was him. Whoever was holding him was like, if you didn't choke in game 7, you motherfucker, the crowd wouldn't be as nuts.
Oh. Uh-oh. Wrestling will be heard or what's going on here? We'll find out.
He's got a big crack in his ass.
Ah.
But, well, next year,
Yeah.
the Belmont's back in New York. Well, New York adjacent in Elmont.
Okay.
At the Belmont Park, the new Belmont Park that's going to be opening up in September.
Could be back. Okay.
But we had an exciting finish to the Belmont.
Sure did.
Now, they moved the post time up 3 minutes because they wanted to avoid the rain.
Right.
But they had that little 2-minute storm, which was perfectly right as the race was going off.
Right.
But, Golden Tempo has taken over the 3-year-old lead by a wide margin right now.
Yeah.
Because everybody was saying he's not going to get the speed. He's not going to get that breakneck speed that you had in the Derby because 6 Speed was running in an earlier race. Taj Mahal, who you expect to do that at Laurel Park, he didn't even get the lead in Woody Stevens. I think it was Woody Stevens he ran in. So, 6 Speed didn't get the lead either. So, you had other horses that were just faster than them in terms of the races. So, neither of those teams really, neither of those horses did anything. But because you didn't have a horse that was going to go 20, 22 and whatever like they did in the Derby,
Right.
it was going to be a slower race. And that's why I went with Growth Equity.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did get the lead briefly at the top of the stretch. Now, I don't know. Did you know I had Growth Equity before tonight?
How did I know you had Growth Equity?
Well, why don't you read my fucking article?
I was busy.
So was a B. But, get it. Anyways, so you had great race, and AJ brought up a great point during also eligible Saturday morning, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Okay.
And if I did, I probably would have gotten 5 or 6, not 4. Not what? Not.
I'm laughing.
But
yeah.
I sat there and I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. I don't see it happening, but yeah, they're both owned by Mike Rapoli, and they're both trained by Todd Fletcher. I could see it happening. Now that you mention it, but I wasn't going to change my pick.
Okay.
But I did say, if it rains, I said in the article, if it rains, play Golden Tempo. Now, I'm not talking about that 2-3 minute rainstorm where it conveniently happened in such a way that as soon as the race is over, there's this big rainbow. And Golden Tempo was wide on the final turn. Now, mind you, we're talking about a 1.125 track, so the turns are a little wider, a little more forgiving than Churchill, but still wide is wide. Closed between horses, outfinished the 7-horse, whatever horse that was, Commandment, I think it was.
I think so.
And ended up winning by a length and a half or whatever the margin was. So, oh, sorry. Oh, that's Cardi B. Okay. Shaq is glued to Cardi B. Chill. Well, I was also saying this.
Who the fuck is that?
Chick. See, I could actually stop if I really wanted to. So, like for example,
Julie.
Yeah, I could do that.
Oh, good. Okay. All right.
But I am going to tell you.
Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Jerkoff.
But seriously, I totally lost my. Oh, the Belmont.
The Belmont with tempo with that.
And momentum. And it was a mad dash to the finish, and his kick was the one that needed the most.
It really was.
So he wins 2 of the 3 legs. Sheree DeVoe, first female to win 2 Triple Crown races.
Okay.
First to win 2 in the same year, 2 lifetime, all that stuff. So, and she won a couple of races prior, Grade 1 race too. So it's like, damn. But also, Mark Cassie had a big weekend.
Mark.
He won 5 races, and he won 3 Grade 1s.
Nice, Mark.
And he was he was with us last year, and I want to bring this up here because I forgot that AJ asked this question. This was a great question that I'll let you hear what AJ had to say, and then I mean, it's a little refreshing that it isn't that these horses are just pieces of meat or whatever you want to call it, but
right.
Here you go.
Do you ever? I don't know how to ask this, but do you ever get emotionally attached to one of your horses? Do you like other ones? Obviously, you like the ones that win much better than the ones that don't. I mean, who wouldn't? But do you ever get a soft spot in the heart, or is it just all business?
No, there's some soft spots, but they're all your kids. Funny story, kind of a few years back, we won the Preakness with Warwill, and then we went to the Belmont, and he was supposed to win the Belmont, and we won it, but with Sir Winston. And my wife Tina, after the race, she was like, "Smile, you have to smile," because I had all these cameras on me, and I was kind of, you know, I wasn't smiling. I was disappointed. But the best way to describe that would be, we have two kids, and one achieves greatness, and the other one's a failure, right? It's hard to get excited because you're only as happy as your happiest child, I guess it would be. So yeah, they're my kids. I worry about them. It's special.
Do you,
So that was an interesting thing, and
I can see
yeah,
that.
and the thing is, I ended up, that just ended up on my Facebook thing when I was trying to find something else for you, that I'm going to show in a couple of minutes. But
Okay.
but he won 3 races. He won with Nitrogen, who's one of the top older female horses. She was back to her winning ways, winning by like 11 lengths. And you knew that she won by 11 lengths because she was far ahead, because she was wandering around in the stretch like she always does when she has the lead by a lot, and, doing her thing. And,
Right.
it's just something that he's never been able to correct. Classic Q won a race at one. And I should know this because, I mentioned it today. Hold on. Let me find it. He had Counting Stars winning the Acorn, which is finished off that double I hit. 77 minutes later, Stablemate Nitrogen delivered an eye-catching performance, winning the Ogden Phipps by 12 3/4 lengths. He completed the hat trick on Saturday when Classic Q dug in game late to take the Just a Game stakes, which, ironically enough, the day we did that interview with Mark Cassie,
Mm-hmm.
that was the day that I was introduced to Classic Q.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
So, so what they're planning on doing is he's planning to keep those horses at Saratoga, especially Nitrogen, who ended up winning, who loves Saratoga. Classic Q will be running possibly at Saratoga. Now, they said with the limited opportunities for female mile horses later in the Saratoga meet,
Mm-hmm.
they're saying that she could run against the boys in the 4-star David Grade 1 on August 8th.
Really?
So,
Huh. Yeah, interesting.
but, they had all kinds of, he had a big weekend. Cherie DeVoe had a big weekend, obviously because she had the biggest weekend
Yes, she
because
did.
she won the biggest race of them all.
Right.
But, a historic win there, and she's doing the media thing again because, hey, we got to get her on the show.
Yeah.
She's, well, I won't say it because I don't want to get me into trouble.
Okay.
In case like something down the line happens to her, hey, you want to talk to Cherie DeVoe? Yeah.
Right.
Kind of like how I wanted to talk to Todd Schrupp until I screwed everything up. I got to give myself one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I will say this, now I did see Mark Cassie at Parks, Pennsylvania Derby Day. Now, if I'd been at tracks that he ran horses in and he ran, and he was there in person for those races, I probably would have said hello. Hey, I'm Joe from Bleacher Brothers when we were Bleacher Brothers, whatever.
Right.
We did that interview with you back in April. Remember, I was the guy saying, we have these races at Parks in September. But The thing is, he had, I don't want to say a scowl on his face, or uh, the male equivalent of resting bee face. You don't know what RBF is?
No.
Resting bitch face. So I didn't know if he was like in a bad mood or it was just his normal look before a race. And also, I'm a believer that, don't mess the routine that somebody has before a race, or, anything with that. So, maybe after race, hey, congrats, oh, by the way, I'm Joe from,
Right.
so, but the horse finished up the track, whatever. But yeah, so, um, you know, now, I use the RBF term, probably not getting him on the show again, but I'm, it was just like I was there, but I just didn't, I mean, the thing is, you have celebrity and stuff like that, and the next thing dude, get away, I mean, the way that I am,
Mhm.
and you know this, obviously, for knowing me as long as I am.
Yeah, about a couple years. Yeah.
I don't want to really go too much in front of celebrities or whatever, because if you catch somebody on a bad day, then you get that, oh, this guy is a bleepity bleep 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 bleep.
Yeah.
When they're not.
That's true.
You just catch somebody at a bad time. It's kind of like in a weird way, it's kind of like going to a restaurant and you get the bad service the one time out of 10. It's like,
oh yeah.
Like for example, I saw something on Facebook. About a week or two ago, somebody posted, might have been one of my Facebook friends or whatever. I said, they're at Steve's Princess Steaks there over on Boston Avenue,
Mm-hmm.
right across the street from the back end of PC Richard.
Yeah, we've been past there.
So
yeah.
I said to them, yeah, I didn't have a good cheesesteak the last time I was there, but I said, I do want to try it again to prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because I ordered it like last minute and it took like forever to get here. It was like almost an hour. So I was like, well, is this a normal thing that, I'm used to certain things from these bigger names that we talk about here in Philly with cheesesteaks? Or is it just, I just got a bad cheesesteak? Or is it because I ordered on whatever app, it was a cheesesteak that was just sitting in his car for 45 minutes, one or the other. But, that's why I say, I'm willing to give it another chance. But,
right.
It's like, I don't want to ruin my initial thoughts about a person,
I can see that.
But, that's part of the reason why I didn't go up them. Now, when I was there at Parks last year,
mm-hmm.
saw Jason Bean for like the third time. We talked for like half an hour.
Right.
He's friends with the track announcer, Jessica.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, he's her mentor and whatever.
Okay.
Also, Dave Weaver from Faendal TV, Faendal Racing. May not technically be employed anymore because everything that's been happening there over the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
He saw me there and he actually came up to me.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which was a shocker.
Well, he knows you.
Yeah. Well, we've been in a couple of fantasy football leagues and stuff like that. And,
okay.
We go back and forth once in a while on there. So, like, his handle on X is Ice Cold Exacta because he has this thing where he gives out an Ice Cold Exacta where he'll say, I'm going with a 1-2 Exacta. Meanwhile, the one is 2-5, and the other one's like 10-1. It's like, I'm not making, but yeah, I'm not making fun. You know, it's a good shtick, and you know, but yeah. So
Well, I was thinking about that. What you said previously about the point that AJ made about your, you know, your one kid doing good,
Yeah.
another kid, and you got mixed emotions. I was thinking, we didn't have that problem with mine. When she got on one, she got on two.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I like Joe, I like Mike. No, it was both of us.
Mm-hmm. So, but I think that's more an open thing now, because if you think about it, all we ever hear is we hear about it's about the horse.
Yeah.
The horse will tell us. You know, it isn't. Oh, we got to run this horse the next race. We got to run this horse in the Preakness. It's like, I'll get back to you on it, but yeah.
But you know, that's the same thing with people who just love animals. They can, you know, the animals become part of the family, and they treat them as such, and it's like, you know, that's their kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, like Cherie DeVoe, she doesn't have any kids. Her kids are all her horses.
Yeah.
You know, Mark Cassidy does have kids because his son is a trainer in Kentucky, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you do have those different things there as well. But, you know, they both had big weekends, and, you know, that's, you know.
They did.
And, you know, it was a great race. And I said to one of my friends Saturday night, I think once we get the Q&A shop going, I'm going to have a T-shirt up there that says, "My horse had to lead at the top of the stretch in Triple Crown races," because it was at least 2. I don't think I did in the Preakness, but 2 out of 3, you know,
ain't bad.
Been in the ballpark, but I mean, it's bad when you're over 3 at the finish.
Well, yeah,
but yeah, so. So once again, just a reminder, also eligible on Saturday. We'll be looking at Monmouth Park. Schoolyard Superman should be running here. As I showed you guys earlier, there's only 10 horses nominated for the race. And even though the purse is much less than Delaware Park, the added prize of automatic entry into the Pegasus, or not in the Pegasus, into the Haskell, is why they are 99.9% sure they're running at Monmouth.
which is a nice thing.
But if it happens he ends up at Delaware Park, we'll add that race in. So, you know, and it's probably not starring Schoolyard Superman, but hey, I had to do something with it just in case. So we're definitely going to look at Monmouth Park here. So on Saturday. So, I did see this, and I told you about this, but I didn't necessarily show you the video because I definitely want to see your reaction to this.
Okay.
Now I'm going to take you to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
Where they are running the Ruidoso Downs meet there, because Ruidoso Downs has had flooding rains the last 2 years. It may even get to the point now where Ruidoso Downs cannot run on that plot of land any further because, you know, climate change, everything else. Everybody will say, you know, well, others will say, oh, there's no climate change, there's 2 freak events. But they are running the Ruidoso Downs meet at Albuquerque, and they're just running one really long meet or whatever. I think actually this meet is actually the Ruidoso Downs at Albuquerque meet. So I want to show you this video.
Okay.
And this is race 3 on Friday, and they ran an evening card. So I guess this was probably a little bit after. Let's see. Yeah, this was after after the races from Saratoga. So I'm going to show this video here. And I want you to keep an eye. Now, for the first 30 seconds of the video, first 30 seconds of the race, you will see your typical head-on pie directly to the forehead camera view. Watch near the end, and we'll probably replay it a second time.
Okay.
But I'm guessing the people that nobody got seriously injured if this was not pulled from Twin Spires, where I'm getting this from. And I could probably pull it from FanDuel as well, but I was like, it's easier to find the head-on cameras. But I'm going to share this here. You know, we can call this the stupid shit that I saw, but I prefer not to with what happened.
Gotcha.
So watch here. So, you know, they do this with a lot of tracks. I think actually seeing it, yeah, it's Ruidoso Downs at Albuquerque. So if they knew that this was something that what happened, they really realized at first what happened, I don't think they would have showed this. But watch behind the horses when they show the shot, the head-on shot when they're turning after they turn for home.
Okay.
And there's not going to be any sound here, so I can talk over it. So
Gotcha.
it's an 870-yard race, which is basically a half a mile. So this part, don't worry about. It's when we get to the turn here. So this is what you normally see in these races.
Right. That's the first turn, right? Okay. Okay. Forward. Okay.
So they're turning for home.
Right.
Okay, so now we get into this part here. So I'm going to pause it right here. Now, at first I'm thinking when we get to this point, because I saw the video on Facebook, but I didn't have it tied down in my head. So I'm like, did they actually AI this shit? Because you can AI anything.
Right.
Did they AI this out because of what I'm going to mention in a couple of minutes? Apparently not. As you continue watching here, keep an eye on the turn.
Okay.
And there's the ambulance. Okay.
Okay.
And you know they always have an ambulance trailing the field because if something happens to a jockey or a horse, well, the jockey portion of it.
Right.
And I'm sure there's probably horse people in there as well. As I play this again, watch the top left of the screen.
Okay.
Fishtail, fishtail, and whoop.
What the hell? What? Dude.
So they canceled the races after that race because of that incident.
Jeez.
It was canceled after the third race.
Right.
Okay. Whoops. Where an ambulance driver lost control of the vehicle and drove it through the outside rail. The ambulance was following quarter horse races around the turn for an 870-yard race and appeared to fishtail as the driver straightened out at the top of the stretch.
You think?
Now, here's probably why this is on the Daily Racing Forum, not Daily Racing Forum, on the Twin Spires site that I pulled this from. Somehow nobody was injured in the incident.
That's surprising.
The ambulance driver tested negative for both drugs and alcohol. In 28 years, I've owned this track and never seen anything like this, according to Paul Blanchard, who owns the track. He said that to the Pollock Report, where I got this article from.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they were just driving too fast, even though they're trained not to. Well, they're trying to keep up with the horses.
Yeah.
No decisions made on the driver's employment. Um, uh, Actually, I see something here which I can show here. Just look at this first. Okay. So here's DCDNO on X. And I'm going to share this as well. And this is weird. I mean, this is, we'll replay it again here, but let me share the screen here. As you can see, there's an embankment there.
Right.
And this is something that you don't see at Parks or Delaware Park because the barns that they have there are apparently on this part of the track property.
Okay.
There it is right there.
Wow.
And also, you got to do repairs to the rail and everything like that. You got to do your investigation. So obviously, they had no choice but to cancel the racing.
Yeah,
So,
but for no one to get hurt, jeez, that's a good thing.
So but the thing is, or actually, this picture here, actually, this video here off of Facebook, whoops, which is on the article here. This gives a good idea of how the track is set up. So let me go here and here and here.
Here?
So I guess those are the barn area for the horses. So obviously they're not up against the rail, but you can see the fence there kept it from going down the embankment even more and even destroying this
That's true.
this little building, which is used for either hay or poop or something, as we saw earlier. But somehow,
That's
that is some weird. I mean, that's weird stuff. That's and
it really is.
and you see weird stuff from time to time in horse racing, but I never seen anything like that. I mean, there was a thing at Freehold a couple years ago before they closed where they were running on a rainy, cold day, and the car in front of the horses lost traction and swerved into the horses.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So, but
What did it rain that day? Was it raining? Because the way he fishtailed is like either inclement weather or just something that you see when people are trying to do donuts in the snow. The way he fishtailed.
they're in a desert.
Yeah.
I mean, it rarely rains. I mean, like I kind of gave Gina Bacola some crap on either Facebook or Instagram because he said he had his rain gear on. I said, yeah, it never, like Albert Hammond says, it never does rain in Southern California, does it? But yeah, so and the Spurs are back up 3 right now, 79-76. But yeah, so all kinds of crazy stuff that happened there. So and I'm not sure that Brendan Sorsby has bet on a horse race in his life,
Mhm.
but he did win a battle in the courts today.
Okay.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what
you told me about
she
that.
sent me. All right, I confused the shit out of the page, the screen that, like the one thing I said, like she sends me a picture and it was her today. What did she have today? She sent me a picture. I don't even know what it was. Was it the dog? No, that was yesterday. So she sent me a picture
Mm-hmm.
and I sent her my screen that I'm looking at, to keep the streak going.
Right.
So she sent a reply to me. I'll join up tomorrow. There's nothing to join up here. Unless she's meaning that she's going to watch tomorrow. I don't know. But, I said, join up, nothing to join, just trying to keep the streak going. So, but whatever. I think I know what she means, but, also if she is thinking that she has to join something, unless she means that she's going to join me tomorrow, that may be the case. But I know. Got to read it. I'm trying to read it 3 different ways, just to cover my ass to make sure.
I can understand that.
But in terms of the message,
Mm-hmm.
just some things there. But both guys are like this for some reason. We have the sound down, so we don't have it blasting. So even though we're kind of sidecasting, kind of not, kind of like tomorrow I'll be kind of sidecasting, kind of not. Carolina and Vegas game 4.
Oh,
Wait. What game is it tomorrow? Not game.
11.
But the only thing that's better than game 4 in Las Vegas?
What's that?
2 chicks at the same time.
There you go.
And it's also going to be what's happening. Well, actually, Brendan Sorsby was saying this via Venmo or whatever. Nope, not Alabama. He was saying this to whoever he was making his wagers.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
But let's get back to the seriousness of this. So he ended up filing for an injunction, of course, conveniently in Lubbock Court, District Court, I think it was, to get an injunction so he can play football this year. Now, are you familiar with this story at all?
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week.
He was betting on football.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. What happened was exactly what Pete Rose did, in a way. He bet on the sport that he's playing or coaching, whatever, which is a no-no.
That's true.
So the NCAA banned him. And I will say this. If you think being litigious 20, 30 years ago was bad, nowadays it's getting insane, especially in particular college sports.
Yeah.
Because, I won another year, and like Diego Pavia, or I think it was him, one said, well, I played college. Well, I played a year in junior college. That shouldn't count against me, which it should. But judge said, "Oh, doesn't count." You know, you get a judge that's in your favor. It's kind of like when the like for example, the Tom Brady thing. They file in one state which is pro-union. The NFL will be in a pro-executive, pro-work, pro-anti-union state, or
Right.
just in New York because of convenience.
Right.
So it's all about filing in a certain area, making you have, you know, making sure you have everything and all that. So they filed in, I believe it was district court in Lubbock. Well, the judge ruled today that Brendan Sorsby is eligible today
Which I don't get.
To play football this year. Oh, and he gets to sit out 2 games. He gets to sit out a game against Abilene Christian, which is a 1AA school, which is recently 1AA. And then you have, let me pull up the schedule here. No, I apologize for yawning. And I think it's Oregon State. Yeah, and Oregon State. So 2 games that mean little. He's conveniently back for the Big 12 season when they take on Houston.
They have to overhaul the NCAA. They have to do something.
Now, from what I understand, I watched this one person who used to be on the Dan Levitard show, Lucy Rodin,
Mm-hmm.
Rohdeen. It's pronounced Rodin, even though it looks like Rodin.
Okay.
For those that want to say, "Oh, you're pronouncing her name," no, I've seen her videos, and she does say Rodin, and she explained it, and she even made fun of her family for going with that pronunciation instead of Rodin. But then again, you add another letter, then she's a rodent. But and she was saying, you know, much of a travesty was, and we think within 24 to maybe in this article not there, but you know, she was down on the sport that she loves and everything, and she called for her Iowa Hawkeyes to start cheating like everybody else cheats and everything. But it's crazy because, you know, you're cheating the game.
Yep.
Now, granted, you're betting on Indiana football. Back when he was at Indiana, when the team sucked, he's betting on his team, but he wasn't betting on himself or whatever. But still, he's still betting on the team. And the one thing I will say is, when it comes to, for example, and by the way, Dylan Cease is going to be back tomorrow, from what I see.
Oh, geez.
He's back from the DL.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, IL, because
IL.
disabled is a bad word.
Right. I know.
You know, you look at this, it's like, really? You're allowing him back? Well, when you got a judge who probably, well, first of all, you're talking about a potential conflict of interest just because you're in the same city. But
Yeah.
But the lawyers, you know, they're good with fighting the NCAA and things like that anyways. But, you know, they purposely went to district court or whatever court it was in Lubbock, Texas, conveniently where Texas Tech is, and they get the injunction. So The reaction around college sports was nearly unanimous, with the idea of Sorsby playing in 2026 after admitting to thousands of bets. So this wasn't, this is part of the investigation the NCAA did starting in March.
Right.
After admitting to thousands of bets on sports, including 40 on his own team, representing the latest crossroads for an industry that has faced a dizzying number of them in recent years. But a lot of schools are kind of going to pay back Texas Tech for this, even though this was more him than it was Texas Tech.
Right.
Now, some of the things that were said here, ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips told ESPN, the ruling represents a horrendous pattern of eroding the integrity of our process.
It is.
And, a Big 12 AD told ESPN that they're disgusted and added, we've officially lost our soul. TCU head coach Sonny Dykes told ESPN, how is anyone ever going to trust the outcome of game again?
That's true.
Georgia athletic director, and this is what I was mentioned to you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia athletic director Josh Brooks forbade his school's teams in a memo to staff from playing Texas Tech.
Oh?
Mm-hmm. And that was obtained by ESPN.
Interesting.
And a fellow athletic director from the SEC, Florida's Scott Strickland, told ESPN he was stunned, even recalling Major League Baseball's 1919 Black Sox scandal, when 8 players from the White Sox took bribes to lose the World Series with the Reds. Ironically enough, the Reds being the team Pete Rose played a match with.
I know, right?
Now, he makes an interesting mention here. I'll read this quote here.
Okay.
As someone who grew up reading about the Black Sox scandal and seeing what happened to Pete Rose and just understanding how bright that line seemed to be in all American sports, I'm stunned that there would be a question at the court level that this is acceptable. That's not a judgment on the young man. It's just that this is pretty fundamental tenet of American sports.
Yep.
And if you're going to participate, you can't gamble, especially on your own team.
That's true.
And it's even worse if it's your opponent that you're betting on. But
that's true.
So the Big 12 is going to have a conference call. It's unknown how much purview the league would have as the judge's ruling is law. Brett Yarmick, who's the commissioner, said, I've been consulting with our key stakeholders and have scheduled meetings with our conference ADs and executive board this week. We are also in touch with Charlie Baker, who's the NCAA president. And they anticipate the NCAA will appeal the order in the next 24 to 48 hours. We continue to monitor and evaluate the situation. So, I'm sure they'll even have a more friendly court where maybe they go to Austin, maybe they go to somewhere else where that is a town that has a rival school of theirs,
Yeah.
Or they just may go Indianapolis, where the NCAA's headquartered now. But Taylor. I don't know who this Taylor is. So, Gene Taylor, the Kansas State athletic director. A sad day not only for college athletics, but college sports in general. I give him credit for admitting and seeking help for his addiction, but to put him back in a high-profile, stressful role with that type of an issue is not helping him. But I'm not an addiction professional, so what do I know? Now, we did have this, okay? And that's my backup phone going off. It sound like I'm farting left and right.
It did sound like that. I was about to do like this, yeah.
Now, trust me, you would know if it was. Now, this has been a topic when it came to Pete Rose. Now, he was banned for life, and the verbiage got changed a little bit. They said, "Oh, or permanent ban, ban for life, lifetime ban." The verbiage got changed a little bit, and Rob Manfred said, "Okay, he's now eligible for the Hall of Fame because he's no longer alive." And the one thing that a lot of people said was, if he admitted to this and he apologized for what he did, he may have been reinstated, maybe not to the point where, okay, well, you can manage again. Well, you're definitely allowed in the stadium without any repercussions. Because, like, for example, when he was in Citizens Bank Park a couple years ago,
Yeah.
if you remember, and he had that drunken segment,
Yeah.
where he was talking about cockeye fastballs
Yeah.
and stuff like that. He had to get special permission to be there, because any major league event, especially in a stadium like that,
Mm-hmm.
he will need special permission from the commissioner's office to be there, because he cannot be anywhere in that stadium. So, like, let's say when his son was, I think he was banned when his son came up into the majors. He was allowed in for that. But, little things that they do have, there's little things that he could do and can't do. But mostly what he can't do was be in the stadium.
But I think you said earlier, I think he's going to allude to it. He never apologized.
Mm-hmm.
He always defended it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if you did something and then you apologize, and it makes people look at you differently, because it's like, well, you did realize you did something wrong. Let's go ahead and reconsider.
Mm-hmm.
This man defended his wrongdoing, and he kept defending it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, because he's not here, I won't put him in the Hall of Fame. This man, no.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think what you do is, if he admitted it a year or two later or whatever. Now, granted, we don't know what Bart Giamatti said to Faye Vincent, who took over for him when he passed away, or what Faye Vincent said to Bud Selig, because I think that's the line progression. And then Selig to Manfred. They could say, don't let him back under any terms whatsoever.
It could, yeah.
So, you get this, and it's like, no, you're not coming back. But I think that, and by the way, it's actually 94-91, but 92-91 after 3, for those that are watching with us tonight. But I think if by chance, he doesn't even have to jump the dunk. But anyways,
right.
But seriously, I think, okay, we'll reinstate you. You're not allowed back as a manager, as a coach, anything like that. We'll allow you to come to games and be at events without having to deal with me approving and not approving. But the one thing we want you to do, especially with everything that's going on, we want to make sure that you talk to the players at the minor league level, especially the lower levels where
That would be smart.
you can go and say, hey, I don't do what I did.
Yep.
The rules are there for a reason. And we don't know a lot of the stuff that was going on in Pete Rose's personal life, but this came about because of tax evasion.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you feel about this. All this is 2020. Hindsight's 2020 because Pete Rose is dead. But
well, like you said, though, if he would have, like you said, the first 2 years would have came out and just apologized, he would have been in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, what's that movie that I just watched? The Kevin Costner movie about the Cleveland Browns fight. I forgot the name of the movie.
The what movie?
Kevin Costner with the you know the movie I'm talking about.
Yeah, the draft.
Draft day.
Draft day.
They were talking about the quarterback to say now the quarterback lied, but he stood up for the lie and he defended the lie. That's all Pittsburgh was Pete Rose was doing. Mm-hmm. He was defending what he did wrong. I'm not going to let you into the Hall of Fame for you doing that. Yeah. If you show any type of remorse or anything, I'm going to look at that and I am going to honor that you were, the best hitter, the most prolific hitter in baseball, and we're going to honor you for the accomplishments. But not if you say, well, I bet on baseball, I didn't bet on my team, and you're going to continue to defend that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Because the one thing that I say about Pete Rose betting on baseball in terms of where he was in the game as a manager, looking back on it, even if you look back on it in the mid 90s, you could say, well, is this because he's bringing a pitcher in the 8th inning instead of the 9th? Is it because of the situation of the game, or is he?
Yeah.
That's the argument I try to give people with that. Now, it's hard to say that now with 40 years later and all that, but it is what it is. So, but and the thing is, the NCAA does have rules about this where you can't bet on certain sports, to not only the integrity of the game, but also the integrity of the school with like the sports that they offer. And
exactly.
Because he was betting on Indiana basketball too, among other things. But here's some of the things that he did. The fact that the Sorsby case has been well established, he was alerted. The NCAA was alerted to Sorsby's gambling in March after law enforcement tipped off a sports book. So, this isn't just, something, something got flagged along the way.
Okay.
The organization notified Texas Tech in April, and Texas Tech deemed Sorsby ineligible after he admitted to having a gambling addiction and went into inpatient rehab. Now, the only thing I can think of is two things with this injunction. One, the judge really loves Texas Tech. He loves Texas Tech football.
Right.
And the other, he tried to get himself fixed, or whatever the correct terminology is, in this gambling rehab that he's in, mental rehab or whatever. But Texas Tech was working through the process on attempting to get him reinstated, but the quarterback ended up getting lawyers and sued the NCAA on May 18th. He was seeking an injunction that would prevent the NCAA from banning him.
Mm-hmm.
Sorsby acknowledged he had wagered at least $90,000 on pro and college sports over the past 4 years, including 40 bets on Indiana football while he was a freshman with the Hoosiers in 2022. So he then went to Texas Tech. I don't think this is on the article, but and it may be Venmo, it may be Cash App, it may be whatever. But somewhere along the way, because Texas does not have sportsbook gambling.
Okay.
Matter of fact, they barely have horse racing. I mean, they have horse racing, but the whole HISA thing where it's like, well, since HISA does this, we're not going to send our signal out across the United States, which really sucks because I love seeing Houston. I love Lone Star Park for thoroughbred racing, but I digress. But he was sending money to his friend who was in a state, I think Ohio, if I remember the video correctly,
Mm-hmm.
so that that person can be the person to make the bets for him. Say it's somebody logging in on his account
Right.
in, let's say, Ohio, where you can bet, put the bets in for him, and then go back and forth from there.
See, I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't let him back in. I couldn't.
Now, I don't know what the illegalities are in that in terms of things that they're mentioning,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sorry, rules are rules. You violate the rules,
Yep.
you're gone.
That's it.
The problem is something doesn't go somebody's way, I'm just going to get a lawyer.
Yep. They're all lawyer up. Yeah.
I mean, it's either that I'm going to another job, or the way that most kids are nowadays. We're not, I'm just going to ghost this job and get another job or something like that, But, that's the other thing now because so much money is in NIL now that,
So much.
and also you're making more money in NIL than you are in your first 3 years in the NFL. So, but are we in the same boat here that, he should have been banned. He should have stayed banned.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Biased judge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we are.
But I guarantee you, anybody who is not a Texas Tech fan agrees with what we're saying here.
Yeah.
Agrees with what the NCAA did, all that stuff. I would like to see a poll of people that are Texas Tech fans because it's like, yay, we got our quarterback back, but
Yeah, but the poll might be more in favor for him being Texas Tech.
And then on top of that,
Yeah.
Let's say he gets banned again.
Yeah.
Let's say he does not enter the supplemental draft in time for the NFL. He's got to sit a year, but let's say all this is resolved and he ends up going into the supplemental draft.
Mm-hmm.
Who would want to draft him because he bet on football, among other things?
Yeah, they wouldn't want to draft him.
I mean, his career's over. I mean, he might have to go to. Well, Canada you can bet on. You might have to go to a European league that hopefully they don't have wagering on those games.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to play. I doubt he plays in the NFL.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, it's nice that he has a problem, but okay. I mean, he admitted he had a problem. That's better verbiage because, I'm sure somebody would clip that and say, it's nice that he has a problem. Watch the whole segment and you can get the gist of what I'm trying to say. It's nice that he admitted he had a problem, or maybe his lawyers helped him to say that, but it's in a way, it's also convenient. And here's the thing, it's like, well, oh, you're kicking a guy when he's down. But the thing is, I think it's convenient that he realizes he has a problem when the NCAA's investigating him, goes to rehab because of it, so he can get the pity of a judge who's probably also a Texas Tech fan, probably even graduated from Texas Tech.
Right.
And oh, by the way, he's now going to be. And most conveniently, it's 2 non-conference games that he's missing. So, but.
Yeah.
So one last thing here is overturn call. See, and this is why we should have the volume up, but I'm not going to have it up. So the 3 did not count. My other phone is going off left and right here. It's let me hit non-spam here. So there's a reason for this here. Hold on. Because I do have a second phone here that nobody. Because what I am trying to do. Because I think there's a way that you can remove yourself in the conversation. Well, delete and block the conversation there. Closest thing I can do.
Gotcha.
All right. So, a former Flyers coach is coaching in the NHL again. Peter Laviolette, after taking a year off, he's taking his jam to the LA Kings.
All right, Peter.
And they went that route a couple different times with former Flyers coaches. Terry Murray.
I remember Terry Murray, yeah.
There was another coach in there that I think, there was another coach or two. I can't think of off the top of my head, but they dip into that again. Even though Laviolette has been with 4 other teams since then, the Islanders, the Hurricanes, the Predators, and now then the Rangers.
Right.
He was also considered for the Maple Leafs and Oilers jobs, but he gets this job. So, but the one thing is with Peter Laviolette, he always seems to do well the first year he's with a new team. So, does that mean I put money on the Kings to win the division next year? Not the cup.
No, just the division.
Yeah.
That
or
might be
to get
well
into
spent.
Playoffs. Yeah.
That might be money well spent. We'll have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that's worth looking at. So, so I'm just looking to see if there's anything new that popped up here within the last couple of hours. Trump becomes the first sitting president to attend the NBA Finals. Blah blah blah. We knew that. Oilers are close to hiring Mike Babcock, the former Wings coach. He was with Columbus Blue Jackets last.
Okay.
So he's this close. The Braves were off tonight, so
we gained a half game.
Yep, we are now 9 games back. But when you look at the wild card, We are a game and a half ahead of Arizona for the final spot. Phillies are in the second spot here. They're a game and a half ahead of Arizona, and they're 2 games ahead of San Diego, who's the first team out right now.
Gotcha.
So, Cardinals Phillies rematch. We know how things turned out the last time the 2 teams met in the wild card round, right?
Yeah, we do.
So San Antonio's up 100 to 95 right now. Nothing. Oh yeah, I do want to see one thing here. Brandon Marsh went 0 for 3 tonight. He's down to 333. Time to bench his ass.
Yeah. He's in a slump.
Well, he wasn't facing the White Sox, where he's had home runs in 5 straight games against the White Sox,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
He abused him this weekend.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think that is it. Just a reminder, I will be live tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. And Mike will not be here next week. So next Monday will be a solo show unless I say I'm going to take the night off too. But either way, I'm back tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern. Kind of sidecasting Vegas and Carolina game 2, or game 4, I'm sorry.
I love it!
Whoops.
Who the fuck is that guy?
I love this sound drop. I do. I love that sound drop.
So I got a whole bunch of them that I can use, and more are coming. I just haven't transferred them over to here, I don't think. But I don't think I did. They're still in that. They're on the external that's there. So.
Ooh, the overturn.
Another overturn. And we don't have the sound up, so we don't know what's going on. We just know that certain teams are scoring, certain teams are not. But it's 100 to 95 right now. So, Mike, you're welcome to stay for the end of the game, but we're going to get up out of here and we're going to shut down the show for tonight. And thank you, everybody, for joining me. Check me out here. Check out Q&A Racing for Quills Picks winners. That'll be tomorrow. That'll be posted probably tomorrow afternoon because hint, send the boy down. And then also eligible on Saturday, we'll be looking at Monmouth Park. Schoolyard Superman's supposed to be running at Pegasus. But if he ends up going to Delaware, we'll cover that instead. So we'll add that to the thing. So that's it for now, everybody. Hope everybody's a great night. And